Mark Cuban believes that Dogecoin is the strongest crypto as a medium of exchange. This statement has many people excited and others extremely angered. And in this video, we are going to break this down, take a look at Dogecoin's inflation rate, and also see if Mark Cuban is actually making a valid point. Let's get into the content. Welcome aboard the Bitcoin Express. My name is Chase. Let's get to it. Over the last year, we have seen guys like Mark Cuban and Elon Musk show strong support for Dogecoin. And currently, Mark Cuban is under attack, and critics are claiming that he is shilling Dogecoin. And he replied, "I don't shill Doge. Where we allow people to pay in any crypto, 95% of the sales are in Doge. Customers choose to use Doge." And this is a very important concept because when it comes to crypto, it's not necessarily the best tech that's the fastest or the cheapest that wins. It is the tech that is adopted, the tech that people want to use. And when it comes to cryptocurrencies that people are actually willing to spend today, and also that companies and businesses are willing to accept, there are very few. The main cryptocurrencies that are accepted in the crypto space, where crypto is accepted actually, is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Bitcoin Cash, surprisingly, Litecoin, and then in the dark web, Monero. And yes, there are other cryptocurrencies that are accepted in some random little shops here or there. Yes, you might go down this list and find a store that accepts Tron, or a store that accepts EOS, or a store that accepts Cosmos. But for the most part, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Monero for the dark web. These are the cryptocurrencies that are commonly accepted. And if a store says we accept crypto, you can almost guarantee that almost 100% of the time that one of those cryptocurrencies is Bitcoin. Now, when it comes to spending these cryptocurrencies, spending Bitcoin and Ethereum day to day as a medium of exchange is a bit difficult because we know high gas fees and it's very slow. But I'm not so sure people would spend these cryptocurrencies even if they could. For example, let's take a look at Bitcoin and the Lightning Network. Even if we see over the next 10, 20 years major advancements in the Lightning Network, I'm not so sure many people will want to spend their Bitcoin. And this is because of Gresham's law. Bad money drives out good money. Meaning, for example, let's say someone has gold and a dollar, and the business is willing to accept either one. A person will hold on to the gold and spend the dollar. They will hold on to the more valuable asset. Or let's say someone has Bitcoin or a dollar to spend. They're going to spend the dollar and hold on to Bitcoin, the more valuable asset. And what gives Bitcoin this value is that it has a limited supply. Bitcoin has become a store of value. And when we look at Ethereum, it does not have a limited supply, but with its update of EIP 1559, it is even deflationary at times of high network activity. So I'm not so sure people would want to spend these assets even if they could, unless they really had to. Now, when you look at Dogecoin, there is no limited supply. It grows every year. When you look at Bitcoin Cash, it has a limited supply. Litecoin has a limited supply. Monero does not have a limited supply. Now, when you look at Dogecoin and its supply, that is not limited. It might be a weakness in it being a store of value, but in terms of Dogecoin being a currency, a medium of exchange, as Mark Cuban stated, this may actually be a strength because Dogecoin could turn into a real currency to spend rather than hoard because it is printed every year. When we hear the word inflation, we think that it is evil. Inflation is not evil. What is evil is uncontrolled inflation. And that's exactly what you get when you have a government or people running the monetary supply. They have targeted rates of inflation, but it's hard to stay on track because, as we know, we always tend to print more or debase our money more than planned. Now, when it comes to something like Dogecoin, since it is crypto and blockchain, it is designed to increase its supply at a set absolute rate. Now, this is the major difference between inflation from, let's say, a government versus an algorithm. The algorithm is controlled. And when it comes to Dogecoin, 5 billion new Dogecoin are printed every year, right? And it doesn't change every year. 5 billion, 5 billion, 5 billion, and so on. So as the supply grows and 5 billion is added, it is a small percentage of the total supply, right? So 5 billion every year, over and over and over again. But because it is only a percentage of the total supply, which is growing, the inflation rate actually slowly decreases over time. Right now, it's at about 3.9%. And we can see on this chart from 2020 to 2050 that it will slowly decline into the 2, 2.5, 2.2, 1.8. So when we look at inflation, I want to repeat this again, inflation is not evil as long as it is controlled. But when we run as humans, right, government run the monetary supply, we have a very hard time controlling it. And I want to show you an example, let's say with fiat money. So in the 1970s, if we're looking at this chart of inflation, we can see that the average inflation rate was about, let's say 1978, 7.6, 1979, 11.3, that's very high, 1980, 13.5, and it changes up and down, it varies. And we will notice that as we get closer into the 2000s, the inflation rate is actually very low, 1.6, 3.2, 2.1, 1.5, 1.6, and so on, right? These are more controlled inflation rates. But this could be confusing at first because during these years, we printed billions and billions of dollars. So if we printed billions of dollars, where did it go? This chart that I'm looking at, this is CPI, consumer price inflation. This focuses on metrics such as food, right? How much does milk cost? How much do eggs cost? But this money did go somewhere. Where did it go? Asset price inflation, which includes financial instruments such as bonds, shares, derivatives, and more importantly, real estate and other capital goods. So inflation has been here all along. It just was not visible because whenever we are shown statistics of inflation, it focuses on CPI. But even over the last year, 2020 and then 2021, we have printed more money than ever, trillions, multiple trillions in dollars. And because of this, we have even seen an increase in CPI, 5.4% in 2021. So when we look at inflation, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Uncontrolled inflation is a bad thing. And I usually see in the crypto space, people look at not just Dogecoin, but really any cryptocurrency, and they'll say, oh, it has inflation, right? There's no limited supply. This is a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing as long as it is controlled, which is what you get when you have an algorithm running the monetary policy. So when we look at Dogecoin, is it a store of value? Can it be compared to Bitcoin? My answer is no. Bitcoin is a good store of value, but is it a good payment system? Probably not. Whereas with Dogecoin, is it a good store of value? I don't think so. But is it a good payment system? Potentially, yes. So when Mark Cuban says it can be used as payments, when we look at the inflation, it's not the worst thing ever. And also, people actually went to use Dogecoin. You might see these other cryptocurrencies on this list and say, well, so-and-so is faster, so-and-so is cheaper, but so what? That is not what people are spending, and that is not what businesses are accepting. And when we look at Dogecoin, it has its strengths and it has its weaknesses. One of the major strengths of Dogecoin is that it is decentralized in the sense that it grew naturally, organically, and the main founders are not even involved anymore. And Dogecoin was created in 2013. This is a historical snapshot from 2014. Dogecoin sitting right here at number 7. And shockingly, if we look at today's chart in 2021, right here at number 7, right now, Dogecoin. It has remained a top cryptocurrency for multiple years. And also, it has never experienced a 51% attack. However, there is a major problem with Dogecoin. The biggest problem remaining is that there is one wallet that holds 28% of the supply. This is a major percentage. If this person ever decides to move or sell a large portion of their Dogecoin, it will crash the markets. And right now, we're still trying to figure out who owns this wallet. Some people believe that Robinhood is the owner of this wallet. So go ahead and watch this video to see if Robinhood owns the wallet with 28% of the Dogecoin supply. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.